This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You horn tootin'. That's all I have to say. I got a lot to talk about kicking off the show this morning. Should we start with the good news or the bad news? Probably the bad news because that goes quickly.
Okay.
All right. I haven't looked the story up again. I probably should have while we were in break there. But I read an article over the weekend that, what's his name? Travis Kelce, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce made a movie and he used government funding to make the movie. The money intended for poor people. You guys look it up at all?
Yeah, it looks like he used the funds from President's Renewable Energy Tax Credits to finance his film My Dead Friend Zoe.
How many millions of dollars is this guy worth?
He's not holding his breath when he logs.
He is turning out to be one of the biggest pieces of shit on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that whole romance is a fraud anyway.
Oh no, I don't know. They look so in love, Tom.
Oh, they're deeply in love. But a guy who's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars is using government money to make a movie. Really?
Yeah, and it looked like the total cost for the movie is just under $10 million. So it wasn't a $500 for $500 million multi-project whatever. So it wasn't that much, but you'd think he'd be able to pay for it himself.
$10 million. Yeah. So where does the money come from for this? Is it a federal government deal?
It's not saying where it's just listing it as a tax credit.
Oh, it's a tax credit. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that because I still just don't understand why he needs government money to make a movie. And what's the movie about anyway?
So I've got it here. It's called My Dead Friend Zoe. It's a comedy drama involving war. Engaged in a mysterious relationship with her dead best friend from the army, a female Afghanistan veteran comes head-to-head with her Vietnam vet grandfather at the family's ancestral lake house. It stars Sonequa Martin Green, Natalie Morales, and Ed Harris.
Ooh, Ed Harris. I like him.
I do too.
Ed Harris does a good job. All right, so let's move on to like real movies instead of ones that are funded by poor people. That's all right. I know you're poor, but we need your poor people money to make this movie. I'm sorry. You don't need it. We need it more than you, even though I'm worth about $100 million or whatever the hell Travis Kelce's worth.
Yeah.
I cannot believe people. First of all, like I said, I think that romance is a complete fraud. They're doing it to make money, and they're making tons of money from it. But, he lost me after screaming at the coach and all the rest of it. And actually, he grabbed the coach by the arm, too, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of grabbed his arm and bumped into him a little bit where Andy Reid stumbled and took a step back.
I would warn the world. Catherine can do that, but the rest of you can't. That's all I'm saying. Don't be grabbing my arm and screaming in my face. I wouldn't take that well. Saw a couple of phenomenal movies over the weekend. Catherine spotted both of them. Catherine's really good at finding. Is it unusual for a husband and a wife to pretty much like the same kinds of stuff?
I think so. At least young couples. And then the more you are together, then you're like, okay, yeah, I do kind of like whatever shows you like and vice versa.
I'm going to do the one we saw last night first. It's Jason Statham. He's in a movie called The Beekeeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It is good. I love Jason Statham.
Phenomenal. I don't know what it is about. I usually don't like movies like that, but there's something about him and the way he does it that I really do like. I don't know, what could it be?
About that movie in particular?
Well, just about his career, because he does the same movie over and over and over again.
Yeah, they're all he's the I have a special set of skills type of guy and action packed. So, but I don't know. Every once in a while, there'll be just one that he does where you're like, okay, this feels a little bit different, or it doesn't necessarily feel like the same carbon cutout of his other movies.
Indeed, but yeah, I really, Catherine and I both really enjoyed the movie. Thought they did a really great job. I mean, it's just way over the top with the violence and all the rest of it. But if you take it for what it is, we both enjoyed the movie. It's called The Beekeeper. It's on it's on a number of different spots, like on Vudu, and it's on a bunch of different spots. But yeah, if you get a chance, and you'd have to like Jason Statham, because I really do like him, because he's underplayed as far as speech, and he's overplayed as far as kicking the piss out of everybody. So there's a nice balance there, anyway.
Almost like John Wick a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep,
over the top of this.
A much more violent John Wick. That's a good way to put it, probably. But yeah, it's called The Beekeeper. It's on, like I said, a number of spots. It's at movie theaters too. Yeah, if you like that deal. I saw one of the best movies I've ever seen. I believe we watched it on Friday night. It's a book called American Fiction. Cord Jefferson directed it. It was a story by Percival Everett, starring some really good people. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen, because it tells the truth about how Americans are handling race relations, money, all the rest of it. Well, here you go. Monk is a frustrated novelist who's fed up with the establishment that profits from black entertainment that relies on tired and offensive tropes. To prove his point, he uses a pen name to write an outlandish black book of his own, a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy, the madness he claims to disdain. I don't like that descriptor of that movie at all. I don't like it at all. He's a very smart man. He's a black man in America today. He's a very smart guy, has some interesting relationships with his own family, all the rest of it. The whole way that race relations are treated in America, and we've talked about it on this show before, race relations in America are horrendous, because there's nothing but lying and ass-kissing and anger about nothing. We're not even trying to work together. That's what I got from this movie. And if you have not seen it, it's called American Fiction. It's in theaters again. You can find it, anywhere on streaming and all the rest of that. But it is one of the best, most well-acted movies I've seen in a while. I love the story. He changes his name to write a book, basically how much he hates white people, which is not true. It just, if you get a chance, watch it. It's a very, very good movie, done really, really well. And it's exactly what I got to be honest with you, I've been talking about for about 15, 20 years. They are making money off of our misery and sorrow. They're keeping us apart. It's like, once again, oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, oh my God. And by the way, there are about 2 or 3 white people in it. Oh, I just love your black movie and the black book it came from and the fact that you're black. And they can't stop saying the word black. It's like, Jesus, Palomino. How about human being? Can we go with human being? Why don't we do that? If you get a chance, watch it. It is a really, really good movie. I mean, they cover everything from the difference, the difference way things are and the way things should be. He's got his mother is in it. He's got a brother who turns out is gay, and they deal with that, whole situation because he doesn't know if he wants to come out or not, and then he does. The movie is very, very good because it, in some ways, subtly points out what a bunch of lying bullshit that our news people turn. As a matter of fact, because I knew I was going to talk about this, and I know we got to get going, but I watched the news this morning. Oh my God. You turn to one channel, those people over there are the worst human beings ever. Don't go near them. They're just horrendous. Then you turn to the other channel. I'm talking Fox and CNN, of course. Oh, those other people, they're terrible. Don't go anywhere near them. Don't listen to these news pukes. They're making money off of your misery. That's all this is. They don't give a rat's ass about Trump or Biden. They care about how much money they're going to make, and they make you feel like shit while they're making a ton of money. Don't even watch them. Don't listen to that crap. Why don't we all just get along? Who is that said that? Why don't we all just get along? Remember that?
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of
yeah. For the sake of history, let's say you just said that right now.
Yes, Tom Barnard came up with it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
So sorry for taking up time, but if you get a chance, American Fiction is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. And if you want a few laughs, you got to see Beekeeper because the violence is way over the top. You're like, whoa. We got to take a break here, but we'll be right back in a couple of seconds. We got some Hunyucks coming up this morning. I don't know, some Phil guy or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? You want to enjoy the warmth wherever you want, whenever you want? Two Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota, started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend, Matt, can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys, which is beautiful. The Keys are beautiful. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt, is one of us, as she hails from Sartell, Alexandria. So, if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends and contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com, that is onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345. I got to get it all, 612-791-2345. And work with local professionals that you can trust.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Yeah, baby. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert, right? You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. That'd be good. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market, the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard, that'd be me. I'm the paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little news, a little information, some sports. Phil, I don't know if you heard the first couple of minutes of the show. A couple of great movies came out. Give them a whirl if you get a chance. American Fiction is one, and The Beekeeper is the other. American Fiction is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
Because it tells the truth about how things should be run in America and how they are run in America. It's very good. Really good movie.
I love going to the movies still. I feel like it's kind of a lost hobby, you know.
Love it. I've always loved going to sitting in a movie theater, no question about it.
What's your go-to snack? Like so you got your movie ticket, are you popcorn?
I'm a popcorn guy, yeah.
Popcorn?
Yep, okay. No question. And the one thing about movies that I do miss is as a kid going to the Empress Theater, the Broadway Theater, the Capri, which, used to be, I don't remember what the hell it was called. It was called something else, but people talking to the screen or commenting on how you're dressed.
Yeah.
I made a mistake once of wearing my basketball, my coat. Not a good idea in North Minneapolis to go in. The whole movie, Bernard. I was like, oh God, why did I do this?
I heard, I think it was Matt Damon recently was interviewed, and because Matt Damon made a living off of these sort of, I don't want to say like independent type movies, but The Rounders, and he didn't build his career off of these huge, big Marvel movies, right? And someone asked him, why don't, like, the movies that you used to make in the 90s and the early 2000s, why don't we see those anymore? He said, because content is so fragmented now, not enough people will go and see those movies, and you don't get the tail of a DVD run or a VHS run, where you could, if you could get to like $80 million box office, the DVD run would carry it over the finish line and make it profitable. And now nobody buys DVDs, nobody buys VHSs, obviously, and so there's not as many movies getting made as maybe 20 or 25 years ago. They're all becoming Netflix and Hulu and Paramount series.
I got to do something about that. I'm glad you brought it up because it made me feel horrible. Once I get back home, I got to do something because Catherine and I have hundreds of DVDs in the closet. What the hell am I going to do with all those DVDs?
That's amazing. We used to need like these DVD racks and shelves to hold everything. It's like now we're all just minimalists with nowhere to put things.
You guys missed out on the cassette tapes in the car thing, though. When cars used to actually play cassette tapes.
I caught the early tail of that in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
No question. What I loved about that is the song, a good example, You Shook Me by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It would go like this, because the track is only so long. And if the song's longer than the track, it has to switch over to the next track. So you would hear, you shook me all night long. Oh, you shook me. God, it would fade out and come back in. It sounded terrible.
Yeah, and then it's like the DVD and the CD player in the car was the big evolution. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I got my driver's license in I think it was 2000 or 2001. And one of the first things I did was I saved up to go to Best Buy. They had a whole department at Best Buy. You drove your car up. They had a garage. They would install, they would take out your cassette console on a used car, and they would install a CD player. And man, I felt like a badass. My last 2-3 years in high school, I have a CD player in a 1992 Toyota Camry. That's right, ladies. Who wants to ride? Who wants a mixtape? Let's go.
You know what? You just corrected me, and you were 100% right. It was not cassettes. It was 8 tracks. Eight tracks is when it faded out and faded back in. It was not cassettes. It was 8 tracks. You're right.
Definitely missed that one. That was before cassettes.
Yeah,
right?
that was definitely before. I had the late, I was right on the edge, or the late edge of cassette tapes. I remember 3rd grade, first cassette tape I ever got, Shaggy's album, but it wasn't me. My parents, no idea, who Shaggy was at the time. So we get in the car, we're listening to, we're all singing, banging on the counter. Wasn't me. To my mom's credit, very cool mom. Let us, listen to that tape for the day. Next morning, disappeared and never saw it again. But she was cool for that day.
I must have fell out of the car when I went into work that day. Yeah, that's probably true. What, did you start swearing in it a lot or something?
Well, I mean, as a 3rd grader talking about, banging a girl on the bathroom floor. Probably not the best.
No. What were the first, Tom? What was your first ever? Do you remember the first 8-track, whatever the technology was, or the first concert you ever went to? Your first musical loves.
My first musical love, Led Zeppelin has to be right up there, because actually I was 16 years old, I think, when they came out, or maybe even 15. And I heard guitar playing like I had never heard before from Jimmy Page, the singing, Robert Plant. I think I told you the story. I was at Carnegie Deli in New York when I lived in New York. I go to Carnegie Deli. It was just a bunch of bench seats that you would sit at. So you were sitting with a bunch of people you didn't even know. So I'm sitting there talking to this guy. He's like 6'2", very broad-shouldered guy, handsome guy and all the rest of it, British guy. And I'm talking, just having a great time, all the rest of it. I said, oh, yeah, in case we run into each other, I'm Tom Barnard. He goes, I'm Robert Plant. Nice to meet you. I'm like,
wow.
I didn't even know it was him. I had no idea it was him.
That's amazing, man. Yeah.
That's New York, though. That is New York.
And it was also a time where guys like that could be more anonymous, because now think about everyone literally has a camera in their hand with their phone, right? And everyone has social media and YouTube videos, and so you could be a world a world popular rock star in the 1970s, early 80s, and people wouldn't know who you are.
You know, I got to be honest with you, though. The biggest love of my life as far as singing is concerned, and there's no question. And for some reason, I think I cursed him because, you know, I had a terrible relationship with my father, and he was hauled off to the nut house and got three of my two great uncles and one uncle murdered. And then, you know, I dragged that along with everybody else. So everybody I talked to, they started losing family members left and right. Like my favorite singer of all time, Marvin Gaye, whose own father shot and killed him. It's like, Jesus, Palomino. It's like, this is all just part of Marvin, it's my fault. I dragged my, whatever that crap is, over into your world. I never got to meet Marvin Gaye. I saw him perform one time. And I can't remember, it was a smaller venue. Might have been at the old Guthrie. Back in the old Guthrie was on Hennepin Avenue.
Downtown? Was it like Hennepin Avenue downtown?
It was right by Loring Park.
Okay,
Yeah, it was right by Loring Park. And so I went and saw him there, and he was singing and dancing and all the rest of it. And I looked up. I was in the first row, and I looked up, and he had a hole in his sock. I thought, man, this guy's a multi-millionaire. He's wearing socks with holes in them.
He's saving up. What was it? So Marvin Gaye was what, in his 40s? He was 45. He was 45. Yeah. We need a list of. Sam Cooke's another one. I love old soul music.
Yep.
Inject that era of music into my veins. But we need a list of like artists who died before the age of 50 that you'd love to have seen the last 25 years of their career play out. Amy Winehouse, I'll throw that one out there too. She died of an overdose, 12 years ago?
God. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. All of these people end up dying. And, Jimi Hendrix. Well, how old was he? He was like 29 or something, wasn't he, when he died?
He was young, yeah.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. Let's see here.
The Bob Marley movie that just came out, too. That's another one.
Yeah.
Jimi Bob Marley.
27?
27.
He was only 27? I thought he was 29.
He's in that 27 Club thing, right?
Yeah,
the
that's
27
right.
Club, or the 30 rockers that died before 30. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with, especially rock and roll, because it's got the stereotypical, a lot of drug use. You're on the road all the time, and you don't, not a long life expectancy.
Yeah, very unfortunate because, once again, I mean, what a talent. What a bunch of talents. Otis Redding was another one sitting on the dock of the bay. He died very young, too. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But see, that's I have a problem with Tevin because I hate rap music because it replaced R&B. R&B is gone. Pisses me off.
R&B's still around. You got to look a little. You got to look a little harder to find it. And it's not as
it's in the cushions.
It's not as popular. So I feel like back in like the 80s, the 90s, it was front and center, and now it's kind of more of a forgotten. Like there's still people doing it well. They're just not extremely well known. It feels almost more like a niche.
Yeah, it should be a niche. That's all I have to say. One of my favorite you guys are too young to remember KUXL 1570 AM. Minnesota's soul station. You guys don't remember that radio station,
man.
I'm sure. That was a long, long time ago. It was when I was a teenager and all the rest of it. But so I got into the business, and I'm still listening to KUXL, loving it. And I run into one of the guys. I won't even say who it was, but he was a great announcer. Black man in America Today. He said, "Tommy, I want you to listen to my show because I'm going to do a special take just for you to open my show today." I said, "Okay, I'll listen." I always listen anyway. So I tune into 1570 KUXL, and I'm listening, and he goes like this. You had one of these kind of voices like this. He goes, "You're listening to KUXL. This am a Chris Craft station." I thank you. You brought me back to the old neighborhood. Thank you so much for that.
Man. And like when AM radio was for decades, it was the hub for music, right? And then FM came along, in the 70s, 80s. But that's how you found songs, man. AM radio was introducing you to everything for decades.
It is amazing. The only FM station I ever worked for was KQRS.
Wow.
Every other station I ever worked at 1500 KSTP. I mean, that's where my career started, basically.
Just turned 100 years old last year, too. AM 1500 KSTP.
It was 100 years old last year.
1923. I believe it was May of 1923 is when it got licensed.
Was I on the air that day?
You started the year after, remember? It was 1924.
24. Yes, exactly. When my mother and father were both 4 years old, by the way. I'd like to point that out.
You were premature.
No, but talking about this stuff makes me happy, whether it's movies or music or different genres and all the rest of it. Look at all the different, Marvin Gaye and Led Zeppelin have nothing in common, but I adored both of them. Just loved them.
I'll give you another one. This is probably, I think he was in his maybe mid 40s, but one of the most played artists on my Spotify and iTunes over the years is Nat King Cole, especially in the wintertime. I love Nat King Cole, and the Nat King Cole trio actually produced a lot more hits even than just Nat King Cole. And he died when he was born in 1919, died. Yeah, he was 45 years old.
45, yeah. His daughter didn't live much older than that either, did she?
I don't know when she died.
Yeah, she died several years ago, but I don't think she was much older than about 40 years old either. Maybe she was, but I don't think so. She might not have even been 40. Yeah. Natalie Cole.
They did that the famous duet together.
They did
30 years ago. That's cool.
God, what a great singer! That guy, some of the greatest singing of all time. There's no question about it. My mother used to watch the Nat King. He had his own TV show back in like 1958 or 59, something like that. Wow! But my mother would never miss it because she loved Nat King Cole, man.
And he would have guests on, and like it was like a variety show. He'd do a song and a dance, or what was the show?
Kind of like that. It was kind of like what you're talking about, a lot of him singing, which was very important. One of the greatest singers ever born, actually, to tell you the truth.
Totally agree.
No question about it.
And Shaggy. I would say Nat King Cole and Shaggy, probably the two greatest singers.
Boy, look at the time. We got to hit the road, but
it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. I don't know. Like I said, one of these days, and I did like Rapper's Delight, by the way. I did like that song because I thought it was very funny. And the chicken tastes like wood. See, now that's funny.
That's terrible chicken.
Terrible chicken. I don't want to eat your terrible chicken. No. That's all I know. But, that's... Phil, I know we do have to hit the road in a second here, but I saw two great movies over the weekend. The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, it's a Jason Statham movie. There's no question about it. But it's so over the top. I loved it. Catherine and I both loved it. But there's a movie called American Fiction. It is fun. It talks about the bullshit race relations in America. It's from a black perspective. It's wonderful. It's a really, really well done. If everybody would stop listening to the newscasters and start listening to and watching movies like this, America would be a much better place.
I think it's playing at my favorite theater, the St. Anthony, Maine Theater this week.
I love St. Anthony, Maine.
Be checking that out probably next weekend then.
Great movie. I think you're going to absolutely love it. Everybody's in it. Fantastic. It's wonderful.
Love it.
So give it a whirl. All right, Pally. So I'll talk to you again on Friday.
Friday, we can we'll have a week of Twins workouts under our belts, and we can actually talk some baseball on Friday if you guys want. Very exciting.
Well, now, wait a minute. Our first game is Friday night, isn't it, on
MLB
right. Network? I think.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I have a question for you about that. Matter of fact, this is a good way to close your segment. MLB is going to carry some Twins games all year long, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Well, they're MLB Network? Or what do you...
The MLB Network, streaming, the streaming network.
Yeah, well, they did. The Twins struck a 1-year deal with Bally Sports North, which is the one they've had. And so if you have a cable provider that gives you access to Bally's, you can watch all the Twins games. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, I'm going to get it because I'm not going to miss the Twins. It's not going to. Look, I'm a Viking fan. Timberwolves are okay. I don't know anything about hockey. We didn't even have ice in North Minneapolis, so what the hell do I know? And I'm talking about even on the streets or the sidewalk. Ice not coming to this neighborhood. That's just how it is.
But you had baseball diamonds.
Maybe some black ice, not white ice, though.
Yeah, black ice. We had black ice. That's exactly what we had, no question about it. Oh, no, I mean, do you think it might be the fact that baseball was the only sport I was kind of good at? That's why I love it so much. I wasn't good, but I was at least kind of good.
I think if it's the one that you played the most, then you probably have the emotional connection to it. Like, I didn't play a lot of hockey. Sacrilege, I know. You're from the state of hockey.
I didn't even know.
Tom or Phil did not play hockey growing up, but yeah, I think I played the most baseball as a kid. I wasn't that great at it, but I think because you play the sport, you become a fan of the sport. I quit football in 8th grade because there was too much running at practice.
Dude, you got to work out too much. I don't want to be doing that stuff. But yeah, we'll close with this. I stopped playing basketball when about a 5'5" kid rose up and dunked over me. 5'5", he could dunk a damn basketball. I said, I'm not playing the sport anymore. I'm out.
Like the dunk contest. Jumps over a car, over Tom's head.
Exactly.
Throws it down.
That's exactly what happened, too. So God bless you, kid. All right, we'll talk to you Friday, pal. And
right,
by the way,
good.
the Twins do have a game Friday night on MLB Network.
We'll preview it. I'd make all the starters go 9 innings. Screw this ramping up. I want to see Buxton 9 innings.
Love it.
Complete game for the starting pitcher, first out of the gate. Let's do it. Send a message to the league.
Exactly right. All right, Phil, we'll talk to you Friday, Pally. Thanks a lot. Take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert join us right after this. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98, and take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb. Dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM.
Hi, guys. It's Chris Egert from Channel 5 Morning News, along with my friends Megan Newquist and Ken Barlow. In the morning, we pride ourselves on sharing people's stories. I've been lucky enough to be part of this 5 Eyewitness News morning team for more than a decade now. This is where I've raised my kids and working alongside my friends for all these years. We're like a family too.
We are family, Chris. Working with you and Ken and Hannah, it is such an honor to help folks start their day every morning on Channel 5. We get to catch people up on the news that's happening, and Hannah is here to keep an eye on the traffic around town.
And when it comes to weather, I know people rely on me to plan their day and get their family out the door. Over the last 10 years, there were so many memories and so many laughs. I just love sharing the forecast alongside you guys.
I feel the same way, Ken. To all you who start your day with us here on Channel 5, we think of you as family too. Thanks for turning on 5 Eyewitness News in the mornings.
I'll get it done, I promise. In addition to having the best selection in town, K&L Surplus and Ammo also can help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. If you've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one and don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you're no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely through consignment and auction. I know Jim. He's extremely knowledgeable and will help you get the top dollar. That's a good thing. Jim's a good guy, too. Really good guy. He will help you explore all the options and take the work and stress off your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Yeah, you're brought by Josh Arnold. You ever met Josh Arnold, Chris?
Negative, have not.
You gotta, because he's become a really good friend of mine. Matter of fact, I like him, but I like his mother more than I like him.
Well, that's okay, right?
Absolutely. We just had lunch, as a matter of fact. We had Josh was there, his mother was there, his cousin, his buddy is the best way to put it, because I don't know. He has a very attractive girlfriend. Let me put it that way. So
that's who you're referring to as his buddy?
Yeah. I didn't want to overdo it. Yeah,
What, Kevin, were you with me? Like, you said buddy, and I was like,
oh, he must have brought like his old high school friend.
Yeah, like some dude he golfs with or something.
Well, a guy named Chuck, who's like a scratch golfer. Yeah.
But the problem is, are you in a relationship? Are you expecting to be married someday? You think you will? I don't want to go all the way. I just go, hey, his buddy.
His pal.
His pal. That's exactly. He's his pal. It worked out very, very well.
Like noogie on the top, rub the top of her head. Yeah.
No question. But honest to God, Josh Arnold's mother she's one of my favorite people in the world. She's about 5'1", weighs probably about 90 pounds, and I don't know that I'd want to take her on. She probably would kick my ass.
I love wonderful. It. Wiry, but tough.
Really, really nice. We've had lunch a couple of times this month, and she's just she's a very special mother, man. It's the only problem with that whole situation is because I don't know how old she is, but she's got some yardage on her, as far as years are concerned. But I love women like that. She looks at me like, good to see you, Tom. What's going on with you? Like, I could be in trouble. No, she is. She's a wonderful person. So we'll move on to the Chris Egert Report now, brought to you by Josh Arnold's mother this morning. Usually it's Josh Arnold, but this morning it's Josh Arnold's mother because I love her. She's wonderful.
And Josh Arnold's buddy.
And Josh Arnold's buddy. That's exactly right.
Buddy Opat.
And his cousin. Don't forget his buddy's cousin. And Catherine was there too, so that was magnificent. So what's happening with you, Palomino?
Well, obviously, this big news that broke over the weekend with the 2 police officers and the paramedic firefighter. We're kind of I guess I would say it's a little bit of a information standstill on that. Sort of as the day went on yesterday, more information was coming out, but we've not officially been given the name of the suspect in the case yet. There's all kinds of stuff floating around social media that's identified who is probably the person, but we can't just take something off of Twitter and put it on TV. So I think as the day goes on today, you're going to see more information come out about what exactly happened and hopefully some more information about the suspect in the case. I don't know how much you're paying attention to it this weekend, Tom.
Oh yeah, a lot. Well, it was a huge national story too.
Yeah. And one of the things that jumped out at me, we had some video where we were pulling one of the SWAT vehicles out where they had it in a trailer and they were on some kind of a lift and they were taking it away from the scene. And there were several bullet holes right in the windshield of that particular like SWAT vehicle, which I don't know. To me, that looks like somebody who's knows what they're doing if they're firing with that kind of accuracy, and or had a certain amount of guns or ammunition to even be able to get off that many shots. So I don't know that wasn't some friendly fire or whatever, but it I don't know, just raised a lot of questions about who the dude is and what happened.
Do we ever figure out? So he's arguing with his girlfriend. Is that what started this whole thing?
Yeah, it's the domestic thing, which you hear that from any police or firefighter. Like those are the worst things to walk in on. And I guess when you think about it, it seems like when it comes to stuff in your house or involving your spouse, like those conversations can be the most heated things. And I don't know. Bad deal.
That Catherine and I never argue. You know why Catherine and I never argue?
Because you're smart.
Because she goes, why don't you just shut up? And I go, okay. So, it works out in the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's amazing about that whole thing? I see those stories, and like I said, it was a huge national story. Matter of fact, I think the first time I saw it referred to was on either OAN or CNN or Fox or one of those. Mm-hmm. How far would someone have to push you before you would shoot and kill them? I mean, think about what that is. You actually killed a human being, in this case, 3 of them. Mm-hmm. What the hell happened in your head that would allow you to do something like that?
Yeah, that for sure. That's just what I keep falling back on the domestic violence thing, and anything you ever hear about that, domestic violence and the sort of, if he was in some kind of a fit of rage or something when that was happening, or if there were, who knows? It happened. It kind of started in the middle of the night. So were they drinking or
Right. Who knows what they were doing leading up to that situation. And the fact, like kind of Chris, how you're saying, like the 3 bullet holes in the windshield, I think to just be able to, kill 3 trained, SWAT team members, it feels like he's got to have some sort of history or experience with firearms. Because like to go from kind of a blackout rage in the domestic violence situation to then now being able to be like focused and take down those 2 officers.
Fire off. Yeah. I know it. So, I mean, I guess the flip side could be too, if he had so much weaponry and he was sort of just shooting it off, and happened to hit 3. I don't know.
No, he did it on purpose, I think.
I mean,
it
definitely
was a horrible story.
Yeah. So that obviously, I think we're going to go on through the day. I know there's been a lot said on social media and all about some of the people and organizations coming out with these, sympathetic statements toward law enforcement and first responders and paramedics. These were some of the same people, though, when all the George Floyd stuff was going down, that were very anti-police. And so you're seeing sort of I saw a lot of that on social media yesterday, where people were, now you support, now you're supporting the police officers after
right.
something like this happens. That's
right.
Unfortunately, anytime one of these things happens, that kind of conversation gets kicked up again too.
Yeah. And Chris, do you know why they're not releasing much information about the suspect? Is there?
I don't know if they're waiting. Every case is different. Sometimes they'll do it right away. To me, it seems to me that the longer it takes, it's usually because there's a lot of work going on in the back, trying to shore up information before they're able to put it out, which I don't know. That just makes me think it's even that much more complicated what happened and how it went down. So
I still don't understand, though, how you get in your head, I think I should shoot somebody. How does that even get in your head to not only shoot 1 or 2, but 3 people who are there to try to break this up and bring back calm to your household, and the first thing you do is kill them? I mean, has this guy got a long history of mental illness or anything like that? Do they know that yet?
I'm seeing some things. It's not reportable yet. I mean, if people want to go down the rabbit hole on it, they can. But I would just say be careful, because a lot of that information that's floating around right now hasn't really been vetted yet.
Right. Very sad. The whole thing is just tremendously sad.
It is. Such young guys, and the 40-year-old, the paramedic, is that 40 is young. So
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I'll have a little bit more info tomorrow. When I'm guessing some of that stuff's going to come out today. But.
All right, Pally. Well, we'll talk to you on the morrow.
All right, you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Chris. Chris Egert, ladies and gentlemen. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. We'll take a break, be right back. Another massive pain in the ass. Another great guy. Bob Sansevere is up next, ladies and gentlemen. How do you know when it's time to make the move for higher profits? So many factors influence a decision to relocate. If you're looking for fewer taxes, less business regulation, and higher profits, 2024 is the time, and Sioux Falls is the place. I love Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls has available buildings and build-ready sites to get your company up and running fast. Best of all, any size company can make more money in the Sioux Falls area. We've got the details at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. Minnesota companies just like yours have considered the future and expanded or relocated to Sioux Falls. Those companies are already enjoying short commutes, safe streets, quality of life excellence too. Join them and discover our productive people, affordable land, reduced red tape, fewer taxes, and higher profits. Think it over. 2024 is the time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And this is Bob Sansevere Sports, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured, contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Bob Sansevere, how are you, sir?
I'm lovely as can be.
Lovely. See any movies, shows, anything good over the weekend we should know about?
I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, the latest one, and I watched Friday night. I love Blue Bloods is back, Fire Country. And,
really?
I'm smacking myself for not realizing. I decided, I watched SEAL Team over the years, didn't see every episode, but I decided I'm just going to watch the last season. I know who the characters are. And it wasn't until I'm looking at the guy, one of the guys that played this Clay Spencer. I don't know if you ever watched SWAT, SEAL Team or not. He was the younger guy on a team. But then you watch Fire Country, Tom, or any of you guys?
Fire Country?
Fire Country. Oh, it's a terrific show. It's about these inmates who help fight fires in California. But the star of that is the same guy who was on SEAL Team, and I never connected it because he always looked familiar, but I wasn't sure from where. So maybe he didn't have the beard.
Who is it?
Max Theriot or Theriot. I don't know how you say his name.
I don't know him.
I mean, if you saw a picture of him, you'd probably recognize him. But anyway, so I watched some SEAL Team. I did not watch the NBA All-Star game because it's a tremendous waste of time in my mind. But I am convinced, didn't watch it, but saw what Karl-Anthony Towns did. He is one of the most incredible players in NBA history because he will put up numbers that are incredible and his team will lose.
Did you hear the Charles Barkley soundbite? They were talking about Karl-Anthony Towns, and he's on or Draymond Green, I believe it was on the national broadcast, and he's like, oh, Karl-Anthony Towns looking like the old Timberwolves teams where he has 40, but his team is down by 20.
There
That's
you go.
Exactly it. Last night, he scored more than 25% of the West's points, and they lost by 25, 211 to 186. Scored 50 points.
211.
Yes, there was a lot of defense.
At one point, there was a player that was on a kind of a fast break, but there were two players back on defense. Great, we can stop him from just getting an easy dunk. They just actively get out of the way and let everybody. you got Damian Lillard pulling up from half court 2-3 times. Like it's just absolutely
nothing but net.
Yeah, it's
Lillard was the MVP, but Towns. Okay, remember in late January, they play Charlotte. He has 44 in the first half, finishes with 62, and they lose the game. They blew an 18-point lead. This guy. I mean, bum is too strong a word, but I don't really want him on my team because he'll launch these ridiculous numbers and the team will lose because he doesn't understand the concept of team. Meantime, Anthony Edwards had 4 points. So they combined for 54 points in the All-Star game. That's pretty.
That's too bad because, look, the All-Star game in baseball used to be wonderful. I've kind of screwed that up now, too. And Thank God they don't play the Pro Bowl anymore. My God. Or do they play a version of it? Somebody
Flag
told
football.
me.
Yeah, they play flag.
Yeah, it's flag football. That's right. It's like, come on. Ugh.
Yeah, but that's the NFL trying to push flag football around the world.
Right, yes.
As an entree. So that's why they're doing it.
Oh, so they can make some money off it.
Yes, of course.
Oh, of course.
That's exactly what it is.
It's all about money.
Yeah, but they disguise it as for player safety.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't care if you get your head taken off in a real game, but this game, we really care about you. Oh, okay.
Now, all right. Now, this game last night, take 100 points off of each team. It'd be 111-86. That's still a high-scoring game.
Exactly. I mean, almost 200 points between the two, and then instead you end up with 400 points?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's incredible. It absolutely is. That's your NBA today. So
Yeah.
397 points.
Yeah,
right?
and they interview all the players after the game, and they're like, why don't you try harder during the game? And they're like, nobody else is trying, so I don't really. We're just here to hang out.
Okay, now you watched it. It sounds like was Karl-Anthony Towns giving his all?
No, I didn't watch hardly any of it. I poked my head in for a little bit, and then I saw Damian Lillard throw up a half-court shot, and then I clicked off to a different channel because it was like, it's not even real. It's like it's not a real basketball game or anything. But yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm sure, just tried a little bit harder than everybody else.
He was launching them 23 for 35. I mean, he was hitting them, but again, nobody's guarding him. So how tough is that? I'm not. I'm not jumping on the old Timberwolves bandwagon because I've seen enough Timberwolves teams to know that once it comes down to playoff crunch time, they'll lose.
Yep.
No matter how good their record is, they're not going to get it done.
Well, I saw a TV spot, I think it was on Channel 5, where a guy said, how come we've never won a championship in the state of hockey? How's that possible?
I don't know, but they didn't start that mission on Saturday. I can tell you that much. It was a rough first two periods, and then it got exciting during the third, and then overtime was definitely a letdown. You could feel the air just leave the building.
God, how can so many other places be good at hockey when Minnesota, the state of hockey, has never won a Stanley Cup?
Hey, they had the most guys on the Olympic team in 1980.
Oh well, now there's a big difference right there. I actually
that's what
watched those
Kanye
games,
had.
by the way. I did.
Well, at least in basketball, you had the Minneapolis Lakers. There's never been a hockey team. And also, why did Minnesota not have one of the first NHL teams?
I don't understand that either, to tell you the truth. I have no idea.
If you're going to have you're going to have teams in the USA, why not Chicago, New York, Boston? Well, those are AJ, you're big into hockey. I think those were the three original US teams, right?
New York, Boston, Detroit.
Chicago. Oh, Detroit. Okay. Not
Detroit,
Chicago.
Yeah.
But where was Minnesota, the state of hockey?
It's blame it on business. Blame it on business. These guys are out there losing teeth. They're taking black eyes.
Yeah.
They don't know the numbers. They don't run accounting firms. Come on.
A couple pucks to the head. Yeah.
You know what's amazing about that? Baseball and hockey were the two sports where I hung out with the most guys. I used to hang out with a lot of hockey players back in the day. Just the early days of your North Stars and all that. Just loved it. Had a great time. I think I went to like 2 games, something like that, because I didn't really understand the sport or any of that stuff. But man, again, I just had dinner with Louie Nanny last week. Had a great time, and except for, once again, let me say this: that jacket that I had on, it literally made me look like I weighed about 500 pounds. It's like, what the hell? What is it? The wind blowing up it was out to like here. I am not kidding.
Was it an old jacket? One of those that you used to wear?
No. It fits just fine, but for some reason the angle, and my head looks about the size of a grapefruit. So I don't know what the hell that is. Anyway, so that's not
bad camera angle. Yeah.
Well, Louie Nanny got the good angle because he looks good. I will tell you something, and everybody knows this, so I'm not revealing anything that's a surprise. He doesn't look anywhere near 82 years old.
No.
Not even. He doesn't even look like he's over about 65, for Christ's sake.
He's very distinguished looking.
He is distinguished. There's no question about that. No doubt about it. But yeah, we had a wonderful time. That whole family, the Letieris, the Nannies, phenomenal people. Right?
Yeah, and Tino, I wish he had the pizza place going yet. He could make a pie.
Tino.
Now you're speaking my
Tino's the
language.
best. Oh, the pizza?
Does he ever have you over and he makes pizza from scratch?
Yes.
Oh, that must be
He is
nice.
one of the best cooks of all time, except for he did tell the story at dinner about he made a pizza for me to take home from his house.
Yeah.
And he put it in a plastic bag to make sure it just, didn't get too cold in the car going home.
That's soggy.
The problem with putting it in a plastic bag was it was one of those odor-killing bags. You remember those? The plastic bags that would kill odors?
Mm-hmm.
The pizza smelled like somebody's perfume for crap. You could not eat it. It was horrible.
Oh, I would eat
How did it taste? What is this lavender scent?
Yeah, it was like lavender. He was talking about that at dinner the other day, and he's like, "Remember that when I sent home that odor emitting bag? I sent home a pizza with you."
Oh,
thanks, there, Tino.
I would have bet that well, you didn't eat it, so you don't know. The crust would have gotten soggy in a plastic bag.
Well, we did eat it until we realized let's not eat any more of this. But you know what Tino's real name is? Do you guys even know Tino Lettieri? What his real name is?
Something with an Antonio or something.
Well, you know he's Catholic. I will tell you about when I mention this name. You named your son Martire.
Martire?
Yeah, like martyr. You named your son Martyr?
Should have went with that. Martyr Lettieri.
Martire. Yeah, oh, God, I love that man. What a wonderful guy. His wife's not too bad either. Let me put it that way.
Well, she's a nanny.
She's a nanny. You're absolutely right. So what else is going on, Bob?
Yeah, I was complaining on my show about I'm sick of already these mock drafts. Everybody's doing them.
Oh,
My
yeah.
favorite ones, though, are the ones that fans do, and they pick every player in every round the Vikings will take. And this one
they
draft,
do?
the guy figured out a way to get the Vikings the third pick in the draft. Yet he didn't seem to lose any of the other draft picks that the Vikings have this year.
Yeah,
just so he could do his picks. It's just
they're going to give us, the number one pick. We're going to give them some cash exceptions and,
we'll give
pack of water bottles. And
we'll give them a 7 and R1, and they'll do the deal. And
Although
nobody
Bob-
ever gets it. Mel Kiper, that's the best part of NFL draft day. Watching him just go nuts when the teams don't pick the players he thinks they should pick.
Yeah. Well, Bob, I'm warming up to your J.J. McCarthy take. That's who the Vikings should draft. I think that's who they'll end up drafting.
If he's still there. I mean, other teams may think so too.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of steam. So I think you might be right on your J.J. McCarthy.
Hey, the kid's a winner. He played for an NFL coach. And people, it was a running team. He could pass when he had to pass. There's some passes he made in, I think it was the Ohio State game. He just drilled it and put it right where it needed to go. The kid can play, and he's smart. That's a good thing to be if you're a quarterback, not dumb.
Yeah,
it helps.
I understand. I do understand, no question about it. But Bob, all I know is the first Twins game is this Friday night on the MLB Network.
It's here already. You got your baseball coming up.
I love it. I love baseball. I just love baseball.
I don't know none of us know what they're going to do, if the pitching is going to be there, but they should have a pretty good lineup. Again, if Buxton can stay healthy, and that's a big part of it, certainly. Mm-hmm. But it could be a good team.
Where'd Sonny Gray go again?
Somewhere else.
He did go somewhere else.
It doesn't matter. That's one they should have.
No, you're right.
He went to Cincinnati. No, St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Why would you do that?
We probably got a nice paycheck to go over there.
Paycheck, and his ERA will be more impressive because there's no DH to face.
Yeah, that's true. It's very, very true.
So
I don't know. Like I said, can't wait to see my first Twins game of the year Friday night. I'll be glued to the TV. That's all I have to say.
I thought the DH was universal now, was it not?
That's what I thought.
In the National League too now? They moved it.
Yeah, last year was the first year with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, see, I'm old school. That's what I'm thinking. I
let it go because I didn't attack you, Bob.
Well, you know what?
I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
No, I think you are.
You're probably right.
Somebody could look it up while we're talking.
Yeah. No, they did a universal rule. It looks like last year, or the year before.
Well, for one season of part of its, let's see. In 2002, they adopted the rule. The rule. Oh, so they've only had it this will be the third season.
It's unbelievable, Bob.
Now, let me ask you the question.
Whatever.
Is the forward pass allowed in the NFL yet?
Hold on, real quick. Yes, recently changed.
Rule?
Yes, recently changed. So
yeah.
Good. You got your finger on the pulse, Sansevere. There's no question about it. What a sports reporter.
Well, you know what? I think I've had some TBI going on. I banged my head earlier or the other day.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Some little traumatic brain injury cooking.
No question about it. So what else is going on in sports? Anything good?
Now, your Timberwolves. We got to see what happens in the second half of the season if they can keep or stay as the best team in the West in the NBA. I'm not. Well, they probably will, but once they get in the postseason, I don't think they're not gonna make a run to the championship game. Although they have played really good defense, and defensive teams do well in the postseason. So. I'm just not a fan of the team. I'm not a fan of the players on the team. Some of them, the key players. And we've talked about that before.
Like who, for example?
Well, I mean, like Anthony Edwards, that whole thing with that woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was handled well. And Karl-Anthony Towns is just, I mean, he's a guy that'll put up big numbers, but he just isn't. Again, big numbers in that game against Charlotte in the first half, 44, finished with 62. He had 18 in the second half, and they blew an 18-point lead. Where was he?
Yeah.
You know, Rudy Gobert if they do anything, he'll be a big part of it because he's helped that team be a good defensive team. So again, we'll see. I mean, I'm just not, put it this way. Like, well, you said it too, Tevin. I didn't watch the game. I didn't care to watch the game. I watched probably 7 or 8 seconds of it because I flipped over and said, this is still on. Click.
Well, you're honest, Sandy. That's the key to the whole deal. Honesty, the best policy.
It's
no
a policy.
All right, Sandy. We'll talk to you later on in a week, pal.
Live for that. See ya.
Thanks a lot, Sandy. Bob Sansevere Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. We'll take a break. Be right back. A little news information. Of course, Kristyn Burtt coming up a little after 9:15. It's all up next. February is the month for love. When is the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared what you might see or smell maybe? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your house. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $119 and a free hallway. Don't forget dirt and dander's favorite hiding place, your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, 952-ZEROREZ, or go online at zeroresminnesota.com and say you want the Tom Barnard Show special. Protect your employees and customers by getting your business Zero Resified by the pros at Zero Res. Call today for your commercial cleaning estimate. Spell it forward or backward. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? 2 Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota, started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
It's a big intro right there, man. That's all I have to say. Came slamming home, didn't you think?
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. So what's going on in the news? Anything good? He joked.
I was going to say, do you actually want the answer to that?
No, I really don't, because I'm looking at here's why one wheel on your shopping cart is always busted. That's the head story on the complete sheet. That one of the wheels on your shopping cart. I've never had a shopping cart with a busted wheel. Never. Have you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Have you really?
Like where maybe not, like where it's either locked up and won't roll, or it does like little squeak and wobble. Like, yeah, you'll get there's some janky shopping carts out there, Tom.
So what's it do? What do you shop at Shithole Central?
Oh, I will also say this. You're not finding broken ones at Lunds and Byerly's. They have pristine carts. But yeah, when younger Tevin, when you got to slog through, maybe a dimly lit grocery store in college because you got to go get your ramen noodles. Yeah, there's some
sure
cards. Yeah. At the St. Cloud Cashwise, that was
Cashwise, baby.
There was one card. It would seem like that was actually fully functional. Otherwise, you got sparks flying all across the aisles. You're eating frozen pizza and just you could hear the clank of every single card.
Really? I must shop at only good spots because I've never had. Although, looking back at the day, Piggly Wiggly back in the days, you guys are too young to remember Piggly Wiggly, I bet.
No, they're still around here.
Are they?
Every once in a while, I run across one. It feels like that's like an Iowa thing.
I've only seen it in Wisconsin.
Okay.
But in Wisconsin, you see them too?
Yeah, I've seen them out like near West Bend.
Okay.
Out there, yeah.
See, because when we were living on Plymouth and Bryant, there was a Piggly Wiggly right down there on Lindale, man. About 13th and 14th and Lindale, that's where it was. It was very, very impressive. It went from a Piggly Wiggly to a Penny's to a Kenny's to being torn to the ground. But one of the greatest shopping centers in the history of the world was Ruff Brothers, which was over in North Minneapolis too. RUFF, Ruff Brothers. What a better name for a grocery store in North Minneapolis than Ruff Brothers.
Yeah, Ruff Brothers in a rough part of town.
It's pretty on brand, I feel like. That's good placement.
Yeah.
I used to love that place though, man. You had your favorite spots to go when you were kids, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like when growing up in Osceola, Wisconsin, it was a Super Value that was like owned by whatever local family type of thing, and yeah, that was the grocery store that everybody went to. And like as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, this place is huge, and now it's like, oh, that place was probably like the size of this studio.
Exactly. That's exactly right. All right, I do have to read this story because I don't know what the hell they mean by this. One of the biggest mysteries in life is why every shopping cart at the store has a busted wheel. Have we not solved that yet? The old myth was that grocery stores did it on purpose to slow you down and make you buy more stuff. You think that's a possibility? It was about money?
Maybe, but that feels like a really like you're paying people, $7 an hour to break your cart wheels.
Right.
And I would say it's probably can you buy just one shopping cart? You probably have to buy, like 60 of them at a time. And so they're like, we don't want to re-up for all these shopping carts.
Yeah, possibly. According to one of the companies that makes those carts, the real reason behind stuck wheels is more innocent. The carts just get used a lot and mistreated. How do you mistreat a shopping cart?
Oh,
how much time do you have?
We're shopping at different places then, because I
really
treat that thing like it's Thunderdome.
Oh, I've seen people do bumper cars, and you stand on the back and you can do like a little wheelie and pop the front of it up. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen that my entire life. No question about it. That's weird. Over time, rolling through the parking lot warps. Yeah, I suppose rolling through a parking lot would harm it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It warps the metal caster plate under each wheel, which can make the wheel stick or lift up off the ground. Those caster plates tend to only last 5 years before they need replacing, and most stores replace them as needed, not all at once. So that's why so many carts have at least one funky wheel. I guess I've had a very special life because I have never had a grocery cart with a broken wheel. Never.
You're so privileged.
I must be.
Privilege is showing. Well, and I would assume Minnesota's probably a little bit more worse off, or any northern states where it's cold and you get the ice and the rocks and the salt or whatever in the parking lot. That probably gunks them up. So, but yeah, I'm more of a basket guy now anyway, so I don't really use the cart too often.
Okay, now I haven't read this yet, so don't judge me. I'm not picking this story because I've read it. I just saw the headline. It's President's Day, and America is sharing their dream presidential candidate.
Oh, this should be good. But the comment section on this is just wild.
Buckle up, everybody. Strap in.
Yeah, exactly. It's President's Day, and since it's also an election year, it's hard not to think of the apparent upcoming match, the rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. George Washington's Mount Vernon conducted a poll asking Americans what qualities, they want in a president other than not the other guy, and the results are telling. 86% of Americans want a president. Oh, good luck to you. Have you seen this list yet?
All right. Can we take a guess? Can we each take a guess on what genuine qualities these guys? Somebody who's going to tell the truth.
Right. Trustworthy.
Correct.
Follows up on their promises during campaigns,
That's exactly right. 86% of Americans want a president who is honest, exhibits ethical leadership, and sets a standard for other politicians to follow. Name one president. Name one.
Oh, you're going to have to give me some time to do some research here.
Go back. Maybe George Washington, but I thought he would. Although George Washington was a slave owner, wasn't he?
Probably. I just assume anybody born before like 1850 or it was a slave owner.
Yeah, I know he had a plantation, and
yeah,
I'm sure his one promise was we're gonna get away from the British, and then we did.
We're gonna take these black people with us.
I still love it. What's that guy's name? Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom. You see, he wants to do slave reparations.
I'm all for that.
There was no slavery in California. Not one slave in California.
If they're starting to cash slavery checks,
yeah, okay.
Let me set up a P.O. box out there, and you guys, I'm a resident now.
Well, there's no slavery in Minnesota either. They talk about it all the time here. There was never any slavery in Minnesota.
My family's from Louisiana, so check.
Oh, there you go. You're in trouble.
Yeah, there we go.
You're in trouble. Okay, so 79% want a president who's against extreme partisanship. Someone who's so in other words, this whole list is things you ain't gonna get by electing a president. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, it's all just a list of qualities that are like be a good person. That's what we're asking.
Yeah,
be a decent person.
Well,
crazy enough that Americans just want a genuine, decent person to be a president.
That is really sad thinking about it, isn't it? Could you just be a decent person for once?
It's like it's like the same thing for the standards that I see now for girls when they're looking for like a guy to date.
Yep.
Like I just want him to pay attention and be nice to me. The bar is so low. The bar is so low, guys. Presidential candidates and just guys.
Yep.
The bar is so low.
We're going to find out if there ever was one decent person who was president of the United States. And I got one person I lean toward. He was not a very good president, but he was a good guy. We'll be right back with Kristyn Burtt right after this. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Hi, guys. It's Chris Egert from Channel 5 Morning News, along with my friends Megan Newquist and Ken Barlow. In the morning, we pride ourselves on sharing people's stories. I've been lucky enough to be part of this 5 Eyewitness News morning team for more than a decade now. This is where I've raised my kids and working alongside my friends for all these years. We're like a family too.
We are family, Chris. Working with you and Ken and Hannah, it is such an honor to help folks start their day every morning on Channel 5. We get to catch people up on the news that's happening, and Hannah is here to keep an eye on the traffic around town.
And when it comes to weather, I know people rely on me to plan their day and get their family out the door. Over the last 10 years, there are so many memories and so many laughs. I just love sharing the forecast alongside you guys.
I feel the same way, Ken. To all you who start your day with us here on Channel 5, we think of you as family too. Thanks for turning on 5 Eyewitness News in the mornings.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner. You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You certainly are. Okay, Kristyn Burtt, we're turning to you. And by the way, Jude's all excited because he saw your picture.
Jude got excited. Well, London just came in for you, so there you go.
See, there you go. Jude, you could see him through the door, but now he went somewhere. He was looking at you, all excited.
Yep,
but
and
now
London just left, so there you go.
So they both left.
They both left.
They both just left.
You're like, yes, nope.
All right, we just want to ask you one question for everybody here. And we're obviously going to start after, we'd have to start after World War II because, you guys wouldn't remember anybody before the Vietnam War or after the Vietnam War, I suppose. But, you studied the presidents at school, did you not?
Yeah. I did. Yes.
Did you each can you each name... I could name, I think, 2 presidents I thought were pretty decent people. I didn't know them, but So, Kristyn, do you have a couple of presidents you thought did a good job and they were nice people?
Ooh, well, sometimes those don't go hand in hand.
You got
honestly,
that right.
I would say Jimmy Carter was probably the most moral man we had in office. He had a very tough 4 years. I think. That's, any study of modern history will understand that. And then for me in Massachusetts, we were brought up to believe that JFK was absolutely everything. Not a good man in his personal life, but in terms of we were brought up to believe that if he hadn't died, our country would have looked very different had he had maybe not only fulfilled his 4-year term, but also been reelected. And that was something that was probably very biased in my education growing up in Massachusetts.
Do you think it's a coincidence that 2 Kennedys were murdered instead of just one?
No.
I don't think it was a coincidence either because they did have ties to organized crime. Their father definitely did, their father was a pig. I would agree with you that JFK seemed, not messing around with the women on the side or any of that stuff.
Right. In his personal life, he was very messy. Very messy.
He was, yeah. But I thought he was, a pretty good president, Made me sad when I found out. Although I was at St. Anne's in 7th grade, St. Anne's School in North Minneapolis, and when the nun announced that JFK had been assassinated, one of the kids cheered.
Jeez.
Now, this is at a Catholic school with the first Roman Catholic president. He cheered. He got slapped across the face by that nun. I think he cried for about 2 hours. I will never. It's like, why would you do that?
Well, there were stories of that happening on 9/11 when the towers fell, that there were some kids who also cheered. And you just wonder, wow, these things go way beyond.
They kind of do.
Way beyond probably what we want to know.
No question. Tevin, you got a favorite president? And don't say Obama, because that's just a given.
I mean, I thought that was the only president that was really worth a thing was, Barack
There you
Obama.
go.
Good old Barry.
Barry.
He's got a good groove. I like it when he dances.
Yeah, he's a man of the people.
He is a man of the
March
people.
Madness
A man of the
brackets.
people.
He's going to, North Carolina basketball practices. Yeah.
He's got a
Barack
book
Obama.
club. Yeah.
Picking up guys at the
He had a swag. Come on. Barack Obama had a swag about him that I think a lot of people really enjoyed. Maybe not you, Tom, but I think a lot of people loved it when he would, like Halloween, when the kids came to the White House. There were some really funny, like when the kid came in the Pope mobile, there's like a really funny clip of that. And I was like, that is totally Barack.
Yeah. Did he get the most accomplished in his presidency? Nah, probably not. It wasn't like a world changing thing, but he did bring a certain cool factor to the White House.
He did some great things like, when you used to go get a tooth extracted as a kid, it cost about $20 and now it's $5,000. But other than that, Obamacare really works well.
Ignore Obamacare and think of the market.
Ignore Obamacare.
Think of all the really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Barack Obama, you got John F. Kennedy. AJ, who you got?
Oh God, I don't follow politics at all.
Chester A. Arthur.
Yeah, there you go.
Who's the one that died in a bathtub because he couldn't get out?
Oh, was that Taft? Yeah.
Yeah, give me Taft.
He weighed 400 pounds. How was he supposed to get out of a bathtub?
No, I feel like the safe answer here is probably Lincoln, right? Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln, yeah.
Jimmy
pretty big
Carter,
steps
wasn't he
for
pretty
the
cool?
country.
Jimmy
Carter was a
Carter,
cool
I think
guy,
good moral man, didn't get a lot done in his administration. He had a tough one, although he did a lot for Middle East relations. I'm trying to think. Bill Clinton balanced a budget.
That's
but if you're budgeting for horrors, it's not that hard to do.
But yeah, but he has a very complicated personal life, similar to JFK. Who was his role model. So you sit there and look at that. That's interesting.
I think I was only around for about maybe 1 or 2 years of his presidency, but Dwight D. Eisenhower was one hell of a good president. There's no doubt about that, but I wasn't around for a lot of it.
I think every president has at least one great triumph. I think that is easy to say. And sometimes that gets overshadowed by other things. So you can't be like, they were the worst president. Every president had at least one great success.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to, I've been honest with myself. If you're the president of the United States, you're really not my kind of guy. So it's hard for me to pick a good president because you want to be president,
Who wants
we
the
got to
job?
have presidents. What's
I
that?
want the job.
The hours suck. Like you don't get weekends off.
It's true. It's true. It's terrible. Is there one? I don't even know this. I'm just asking this question. Is there one president that the people tend to acknowledge as the best president ever? I don't know. I've never heard it, but there must be, I would think.
I don't think so, because the second somebody goes, this president was the best president ever, somebody's got about 10 things that they did horribly wrong to ruin everybody's lives. Just ready to go.
Exactly. So. I think that in school you're taught like Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. So you know what I mean? There's certain storylines that, and I say the storylines because, if you really go and do a deep dive on each president, you start to see like they're a very complicated, very complex, multi-layered type of person, so things aren't perfect. But in elementary school, when they're trying to just teach you like the basics of history, I feel like Abraham Lincoln's like the good guy in all of that.
Well, you have to understand too, being grown up Catholic, having a Catholic president, John F. Kennedy, my God, having a Catholic president was a very big deal. Then of course they had to ruin it by the fact that Biden's also Catholic, but it always gets ruined. What are you going to do?
So I've got the presidential approval ratings here. From
Oh, I like it. Here we go.
Way to
Here
go,
we
AJ.
Thank you. So they
Okay,
started.
now wait a minute. Wait,
Go
before
ahead.
you say it, once again. So Tevin, you went with who? We're going to see if our people made the top of the list.
Quick note here: they started like recording this with Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
1942.
That makes sense. Okay, so who you got? You got Jimmy Carter, Kristen. That's who you're going with.
No, I said JFK.
Oh, JFK. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devin, you went with
Give me
who?
Barack. Give me
Barack
Barry.
Obama.
Yep.
Okay, and then AJ, who'd you go with?
I said Taft, but more as a joke. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna forego my pick because I pulled up the data.
Oh, guys, you've seen it all. That's true.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with Dwight D. Eisenhower.
So they have the highest and the lowest approvals for like each of the presidents that like have recorded. The highest ever approval rating at any given time, 2001, George W. Bush with a 92% approval rating.
Really?
Reported
That makes
by
sense.
ABC News right after
Post 9/11.
Post 9/11.
Yeah, that's true.
Post
That's true.
9/11.
Good point.
Let's see here. Then we had Jimmy Carter. His highest at any given point was 75%. And Tom, you said Dwight Eisenhower was yours. He had a 78% at his highest. But there's a couple other, like Harry S. Truman had 87. Franklin D. Roosevelt had 84. I love looking at the lowest because like George Bush, despite having 92% at one point, he got it down as low as 19%.
Now, but that was his dad, wasn't it? That wasn't him.
No, this
Was
is
it
George.
HW or W?
This is W. HW got as high as 89% and as low as 29. But George W. Bush pulled from October 8th, 92%, and then the lowest was February 16th, 2008. So towards the end of his terms.
Because the economy collapsed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the economy collapse and then revelations about the war that really shouldn't have happened.
Right. There are a lot of wars like that you should have never happened, but people's greed gets in the way, and it's always about money. People need to understand this. Whether it's politics, whether it's war, whether it's it's always about money.
Well, you had Cheney in there and Halliburton, and there's a lot. It was very messy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
and
true.
Like looking back, because I was like 17, 18 years old, kind of when that war was in its peak. And I had a lot of friends from high school that were, can't wait to turn 18 so I can join the army and, go off to war and help out in Iraq. And it was like, looking back is maybe that wasn't the wisest decision. You got roped into something that you didn't know about.
And it's crazy because the level of patriotism post 9/11 too encouraged a lot of people to sign up for the military, and and then they are like thrown into this war, and then you start realizing, this isn't what I signed up for. It's tough.
Yeah, everybody was jacked up off that Toby Keith song to go put a boot in your ass because it's the American way.
Sure.
Proud to be an American. Which song is that?
Did you guys know anybody that died in 9/11?
No.
I did.
I did too.
I did not.
Matter of fact, a friend of mine's son, they found him about 50 feet from the front door. He almost made it out. Oh, man, that was a tough go. That was
my neighbor in Manhattan passed away.
Honest to God, it just having lived in New York, just because that was, a while after I had moved back to Minnesota from New York, but just spending all that time in New York to see that happen into that. I love New York. I love that city. I love the people. Look, I love anybody who goes in, nice shirt. They don't even know you. And they're not being sincere about how nice your shirt is either. I love that.
New Yorkers are the best.
I love New Yorkers.
And the one thing about New Yorkers that too, if you need help, if you're being mugged or something and you are like, help me, they will help you. Or I always used to love if I would take a cab home late at night, they would make sure, the taxi driver would make sure that you got into your apartment building safely. They wouldn't just leave you stranded out there on the sidewalk. They're just really good people.
I agree 100%. Everybody, New Yorkers, I can't say. They're wonderful people. They will tell you, the reason some people don't like them is they will tell you exactly what they're thinking. Like, yeah, really? Nice shirt. Shut up. That kind of deal. I love that about New Yorkers. They're very honest. Okay, two things. I know you got to get going here in a couple of seconds, but saw two movies over the weekend. One of them, of course, was Beekeeper with, what the hell is his name?
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham. It's just so far over the top that it's really enjoyable. It's way over
My friend
the top.
wrote that.
Oh, really?
Kurt Wimmer, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Honest to God.
his movies, he does. He's done like a lot of. He did Salt with Angelina Jolie. You should see some of his film. He's done like directed the reboot of like Children of the Corn. Like he does a lot of like action films. They don't necessarily get reviewed very well. However, audiences love what he does.
No, I'm telling you, it was a really, really good movie. Very well written. Jason Statham is just so far over the top. We really enjoyed it. But the one that really kicked ass is American Fiction. My God, that's a great movie.
Nominated for an Oscar, several
Did you
Oscars.
see it?
Yeah.
We're finally telling the truth about race relations in America, and we have been led by our politicians to be so full of bullshit in our relationships. This movie tackles that, does a great job. This whole idea, we're just going to kind of go, no. It's all about, once again, how much money I can make off of your skin color, whether it's white or black.
Tom, I have to correct you. There was slavery in California, by the way.
There was not slavery in California.
Oh,
Never.
Yeah. I will bet $100. I will bet you.
Where?
During the California Gold Rush. So what happened is this was considered a free state, and people all came in the 1850s to California and brought many of their slaves here to assist with the gold rush. So it was one of those kind of like deep, dark secrets of California, but it wasn't like the deep South where slavery was predominant. No. However, there were slaves in California, especially during the 1850s. You can fact check me if you'd like.
Yeah, but they were Scandinavian, so that doesn't count. He had to talk over me even during that one, just to argue your point. All right, we got to go, but slavery. What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't have a slave.
I'm just saying, how do you walk in
my
your
state?
I have
to acknowledge that it happened in my state, Tom.
I still not.
We are not going to gloss over history in California.
Yeah, are we going to gloss over it in Minnesota?
I don't know about Minnesota, but maybe want to fact check Minnesota, see if
we never had slavery in Minnesota. Never happened.
I'll fact check it and let you know tomorrow.
You'll get back to me.
I'll get back to you about that.
All right. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot. Kristyn Burtt, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So what else?
I'm doing a quick Google search, but we'll have to fact check this probably for next time. But it looks like there may have been a little slavery in Minnesota.
There was not slavery in Minnesota. Where was this now?
There were at least 2 enslaved women. It looks like Fort Snelling in 1830.
They were enslaved.
We got to do a little deep dive. But it looks like we released 2 women.
No way. Once again, it's this whole take on what really was a slave and, who worked for whatever.
I'm just saying, Walls, if you want to write that check, I'll accept it.
Oh, he'd love to write the check as long as he doesn't have to pay for it. Right. I feel enslaved just having him as the governor. He's the worst governor we've ever had. What a scam artist piece of shit that man is. And you can tell him I said that, by the way, too. Hey, you're a sergeant in the Army. We're going to send you overseas. Oh, no, I'm not in the Army anymore. Let me take off my uniform. Ugh. I don't know. I never met him. Maybe he's a great guy, but I don't think so. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy to me. He's definitely been put in a bad spot the last couple of years with everything going on here.
Yeah, what do you mean he's been put in a bad spot? You mean he put us in a bad spot?
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody with pandemic followed by all the civil unrest was going to successfully navigate that by any stretch.
No, I understand that.
And then everything since then, I would say I'm still surprised that he's around. I would have probably retired and called it a day.
Yeah, just for the sake of just
mental health.
Waking up and not having to worry about stuff. Yeah.
This is his first term, though, isn't it?
Walls?
Yeah.
No, I thought he's been in there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, look it up before. I can't go before. I thought he was still in. See, I got to be honest with you, though. You're probably right, because I do not pay a lot of attention to politics. Politicians are just not my kind of people. As I said, I did some huge favors for politicians in the past. Never hear from any of them, not one of them since then.
Well, I guess, yeah, he's been the governor since 2019, but he was a representative in the 1st district from 2007 to 2019.
So 2019. So when was his term? 19 to what? 23, and then.
I'm not sure. When did we just reelect him?
Yeah, because it was
2nd term.
2 years ago. So he ran against a doctor whose name escapes me right now. Who ran?
Oh yeah,
that's
Dennis?
right.
I remember that. You're absolutely right.
Jensen,
Yeah.
Mark Jensen, or something like that.
Yeah, or David Jensen, or somebody like that. Now you're absolutely right. 19, 20, 21, 22. So yeah, the election would have been 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I guess.
Yes.
Now.
Scott
Something
Jensen.
like that. But
Scott
yeah,
Jensen. There we go.
you know, it's whatever. Politicians ish. That's all I have to say.
That's
Is that a good way to look at it?
That's the best way to sum up that entire conversation.
Yes.
All right, pals, we will talk to you tomorrow.